Welcome to the E-Hustle, an e-commerce podcast by me, Paul Waddy, where I aim to break down one e-commerce topic or story per episode. Welcome back to the E-Hustle. I'm Paul Waddy. As always, if you like what I do, don't forget to like it, share it, review it, all that sort of thing. Subscribe, it all helps. So today I'm talking about the age-old topic and a question that I get asked probably once a week. Can you make money dropshipping? Short answer, no. Okay, that's it. Podcast over. Hear me out. Okay, so I've been a drop shipper, and I want to firstly say that I encourage people to give it a go. I like it as a free training tool. Why? You don't have to buy inventory. You don't have to make costly mistakes. You don't have to sink your life savings into it, and you will make mistakes. In fact, I often say your second business is much better than your first. So fail cheaply on your first. So use it as a training ground, particularly if you're a young person listening to this. I absolutely think it's a lot of fun. It's a really good little hobby. Can you make money in it? Not really. And in this podcast, I'm going to break down why. Firstly, before I do that, I want to clarify the difference between marketplaces and dropshippers. Two very different things. A marketplace, eBay, Amazon, The Iconic has one, Walmart has one, Saks Fifth Avenue has one, Revolve has one, Bloomingdale, right? So they're a website, usually a reputable website, and you apply to list your products on that site. Now, for some, like eBay, pretty much anyone can list on eBay, but Saks Fifth Avenue are incredibly selective with who they allow on the platform. Okay, so that's a marketplace, and I love marketplaces as a way of growing brands, particularly when the alignment's right. Dropshipping, different. Okay, so the dropshipping that you read about on YouTube, the get rich quick, I grew my business to blah, 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 I rented a Ferrari and created this video, that operates like this. I go on Alibaba.com, I go on AliExpress, I go on maybe using a tool like Oberlo, which is a little plugin. It actually doesn't work anymore, but it was a little plugin that I've used that will scour Alibaba, and you can add products to your Shopify store using this extension. Just say, yep, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. All gets added into your store. The images come in, the descriptions come in. You do a bit of editing on the pricing and so on. And when the orders come into your Shopify store, Oberlo sends them to the Alibaba seller. Don't go Googling it because it doesn't exist anymore. It does, but it doesn't do that anymore. But it was a pretty cool tool. There are some others that do similar things. Anyway, so the point is, I don't hold inventory. I take photos and product descriptions from a supplier, typically in China. Let's just say China for this example, where most of them come from. And I try and market those products on my own website. Give the website a name, run some ads, do some organic traffic, set up an online store, usually on Shopify. People come and buy that product. When they buy the product, me, an assistant, or my technology will then buy that product off Alibaba and give the Alibaba seller the recipient's address. And they send it, but I'm the payer, right? So it's just essentially a different shipping address. Pros, I hold no inventory, therefore I don't need much cash. That's about it. Cons, where do I begin? I'm going to start with the margin. Okay, so it largely comes down to the poor margins that you get while dropshipping. And this is where 99% of dropshippers fail. If you're treating dropshipping as a side hustle, again, I don't mind that. I think that's okay. A little hobby, you'll make a few bucks here and there. It's good fun. But it'll never be scalable due to the margins. And let's break that down really quickly. If you've watched some of my other videos, podcasts, and so on, you'll see that I talk a lot about the importance of a good margin. And a good margin, I think, is above 70%, right? In drop shipping, you're likely to get 30%. You may be getting a little bit more, but typically what I've seen when I did it and with other brands that I've seen, you get about 30%. And you might think, yeah, 30% is great. It's all profit. It's not all profit, because when you open your store, it comes with running costs. And the running costs typically are for you trying to get traffic. So you might run some Google ads, or you might do some Facebook ads, Meta ads. You might, do some content creation. That costs money. Typically, that costs around 20%, just roughly. So if you've got a margin of 30% and you're spending 20% on ads, you're left with 10% before you've even done anything else. Paid for any of your Shopify subscriptions, paid for any merchant fees, anything else, right? So that you've got no money left, right? And even if you think, well, 10% profit's pretty good, you'd have to make $100,000 a month in sales in order to take home 10,000, and you're not going to take home 10,000. The reality is there's tax on that and so on and so on. But the more important thing is that running a $100,000 business is no longer a side hustle. Like there's work there, you're running ads, there's quite a bit going on. So you're probably not doing that as a side hustle, but the margins don't allow you to hire anybody else. $10,000 a month doesn't go very far amongst more than one person. You've got a business partner, $5,000 each. If you're lucky, it's not really worth it for so much work that goes into running a $100,000 a month store. So let's break that down a little bit more. If your margin is 30%, the average running costs of a lean e-commerce business are 30%. So your margin's already gone in running your business. Most businesses run at over 40% operating expenses. So if they make 100 grand, they spend 40 grand running it. So if you've got a 30% margin and you're running your business at 40%, you're negative 10%. Okay, I'm a drop shipper, I can be lean. Great, you can be lean at 20%. I'm just gonna run ads. No problem. If you've got a 30 or a 35% margin on your drop shipping products, after ads, that's 15%. You might think, yeah, that's great. Again, if you can make $100,000 a month, $15,000 a month is handy, but that's a full-time gig. Can you earn more than $15,000 outside of, again, that's before tax, outside of drop shipping? Because there's a lot of work running a $100,000 a month store. It's not really at that point a side hustle. Can you get it to $100,000 a month? Probably not, because you're selling generic drop shipping products. You haven't created a product from scratch, gone to a supplier, found it, product engineered it, designed it, it's new to the market. It's a drop shipping product, which means that thousands of other people are doing exactly the same thing that you are. In addition, you're probably not able to compete on price with your Temu sellers and your Amazon sellers and so on. Now, let me just explain that. Temu is essentially a marketplace. Shein, these sorts of websites, what they do is they connect with Chinese manufacturers and allow Chinese manufacturers to sell in huge volume to consumers. So if Chinese suppliers can get access directly to consumers through Temu, why are they going to worry about my little website, where I'm ordering a few pieces here and there? They're absolutely zeroed on in your big Amazon sellers, but now they're zeroed in on Temu and your Shein. So it's essentially too hard to compete with that, and the suppliers are no longer interested. So dropshipping has well and truly been killed off by Temu, by Shein, and even before it was unlikely that anyone's going to make serious money in dropshipping. It's essentially dead now because those huge Chinese websites have put an end to it. So what happens when a dropshipper tries to scale their business is typically they'll get a few orders. They think this is really easy. I want to get more orders. So how do you get more orders? Because your orders will just be consistent. Well, you've got to put more work in on the organic socials, which takes time, or you might need to hire content creators, or you try and dial up your Facebook ads, and that requires more money. So you'll start to scale up your spend, and that eats away at your margins. And you might increase the volume of orders that come through, but the money that you're left with at the end is pretty unexciting. So what typically happens is your orders are so small that you give up, or you try and scale it and you can't because your margins aren't there and you give up. And mark my words, you'll have problems, right? So what will happen is you have no control over your logistics, right? So your customers will get often poor tracking experience. They'll email you, where's my order? I ordered it 2 weeks ago. You'll then have to email the supplier in China. They'll take time getting back to you because you're a small retailer, and that's a really poor experience. So you'll get a lot of customer service inquiries, a lot of complaints, a lot of people asking for refunds for late delivery, faulty products, because you haven't quality controlled the product. Then good luck trying to get that refund back off your supplier. So it becomes fiddly. So as you scale your business, there's more tickets, more customer service tickets. You can't hire someone to do those because you don't have the margins to be able to pay someone. And you're starting to do refunds and just be busier handling customer service inquiries about the product. It's a harder business to grow, right? It's busy. As you grow, it becomes busy. So you try and scale it and you think, well, that's not what I want. It's too much effort here for too small margin, for too small profit. And that's what will happen. And again, this is what 99% of dropshippers will do. They'll try and scale, they'll drop off, or they'll stay small and they'll drop off. So they'll just end up failing or giving up. So how do I feel about it in general? You won't make money doing it. Let's be honest with that. It's a good training platform. I'd give it a go just to learn. If you were a teenager or, even, in year 6, year 7, year 8, and you're trying to think about, what could I do in e-commerce? That's a great way to learn. I love it. Talking to suppliers, negotiating, handling customer service, building a Shopify store. I love that. Go and buy my book, Shopify for Dummies, and go and set up a store and do a bit of dropshipping. It's a really good, fun project. But just beware of these people who tell you it's so easy and you'll make millions and so on. It is pretty easy. Just set a store up. You won't make millions. You won't make money. There are many other ways to make money. The best way to make money in e-commerce is to find a great product or develop your own product, buy it where you get the 70% margins, but buy the right amount, know how much to buy so that you move through it quickly. And just wait till you're ready. So don't rush into things. Just wait till you're ready. But dropshipping was already a bit of a furphy because people can teach you how to do it. And because it's easy, people think that the money is easy. But just because it's easy to do something doesn't mean it's lucrative to do something. And dropshipping isn't lucrative. Finally, Temu, your Sheins, your Amazons have put an end to all of that. So again, just go in with your eyes wide open. Be wary of people promising you false profits, promising you riches through dropshipping. It simply won't happen. Those days are dead. In fact, those days were never here. So just be wary, but absolutely give dropshipping a go as a training ground, but don't expect to get rich. You won't.